immigration, in the poll, that was an area of weakness for you. You have been widely criticized, Donald, as you know, for offending immigrants in your announcement speech. I want to just play again exactly what you said in that speech. Here you are.
When Mexico sends its people, they're not sending their best. They're not sending you. They're not sending you. They're sending people that have lots of problems, and they're bringing those problems with us. They're bringing drugs, they're bringing crime, they're rapists, and some, I assume, are good people.
Now, you've tried to clarify this statement in recent days, Donald, but I guess the question comes down to this. Do you regret saying that specifically about rapists, or do you stand by it?
No, not at all. Of course, it's not only Mexico. If you let that run a little bit longer, it talks about people coming from all over. They're coming from all over. They'll soon be coming, and probably already have, be coming from all over the world. You're probably going to have people, you're probably going to have terrorists coming from the Middle East. Somebody said, oh, we don't have terrorists. They don't even know, because they don't know who's coming. So we have this open border. It's a sieve. It's like water pouring through. People are coming in by the hundreds of thousands. We have no idea who's coming in.
On day one, we will begin working on an impenetrable, physical, tall, powerful, beautiful southern border wall.
The world will come to a flaming end at midnight tonight. Without my help and knowledge, every one of you will be dead. Planning to remain in town for long?
Well, I understand I have until midnight.
And you've heard.
Yeah, I heard. Your name is Trump?
I am the only one. Trust me. I can build a wall around your homes that nothing will penetrate.
What do we do? How do we save ourselves?
You ask, how do you build that wall? You ask, and I'm here to tell you.
So let's say it costs $4 or $5 billion. So if the wall costs $6 billion to build, you mean to tell me I can't take $7 billion and build a wall? The wall's probably $8 billion. The wall is $10 to $12 billion. I think for $18 billion or less, we're going to have a great wall. And we're talking about a wall for $20 billion. And they did agree to a $25 billion wall.
But despite the heated rhetoric you hear from politicians and paranoid hunting buddies, there's hardly an immigration crime wave in this country. In fact, several studies over many years have concluded that immigrants are less likely to commit crimes than people born in the United States. And on top of that, more Mexicans are leaving than coming to the U.S., resulting in a net loss of 140,000 from 2009 to 2014.
Good evening. A senior U.S. counterterrorism official tells CNN there is no evidence that ISIS or other Sunni terror groups are trying to get into the country by coming across the southern border. No evidence. That is a factual statement from a highly placed, knowledgeable source. No evidence of terrorist infiltration in the migrant caravan now making its way through Mexico. Zero. None. Now, we're saying it at the top of the broadcast, and we'll keep coming back to it because simple facts matter, and the quiet truth bears repeating. With just 2 weeks to go until midterm elections, President Trump, who's in Texas tonight, has chosen to fill the public arena with the exact opposite of the quiet truth or simple facts, and he's doing it in a way that seems designed to scare people. The President of the United States is intentionally, it appears, trying to scare you. He's been out there loudly, repeatedly, unabashedly spreading falsehoods, and that is not the same as painting the political opposition in the worst light possible, which all modern presidents, Republicans and Democrats, have done.
CBP has stopped over 3,000 what we call special interest aliens trying to come into the country on the southern border. Those are aliens who the intel community has identified are of concern.
But special interest aliens are just people who come from countries that have ever produced a terrorist. They're not terrorists themselves, and the State Department says that there is, quote, their words, no credible evidence of any terrorists coming across the border from Mexico.
We know that roughly nearly 4,000 known or suspected terrorists come into our country illegally, and we know that our most vulnerable point of entry is at our southern border.
I know this statistic. I didn't know if you were going to use it, but I studied up on this. Do you know where those 4,000 people come, or where they're captured? Airports.
Not always, but certainly a large number.
The State Department says there hasn't been any terrorists that they found coming across the southern border from Mexico.
It's by air, it's by land, and it's by sea. It's all of the above. But one thing that you're forgetting is that the most vulnerable point of entry that we have into this country is our southern border, and we have to protect it. And the more and more that individuals
they're not coming across the southern border, Sarah. They're coming and they're being stopped at airports.
They're coming in a number of ways. There's certainly, I'm not disagreeing with you that they're coming through airports. I'm saying that they come by air, by land, and by sea. And the more and more that our border becomes vulnerable and the less and less that we spend time and money protecting it, the more that we're going to have an influx, not just of terrorists, but of human traffickers, drug inflow, and people that are coming here to do.
So let us have a conversation where we don't have to contradict in public the statistics that you put forth, but instead can have a conversation about what will really work and what the American people deserve from us at this uncertain time in their lives where they have apprehension.
One thing I think we can agree on is we shouldn't shut down the government over a dispute. And you want to shut it down. You keep talking about it.
The last time, Chuck, you shut it down.
No.
And then you opened it up very quickly. And
20 times.
I don't want to do what you did.
20 times you have called for, I will shut down the government if I don't get my wool. None of us have said.
You want to know something?
You've said it.
Okay, you want to put that on my.
You've said it.
I'll take it.
Okay, good.
You know what I'll say? Yes. If we don't get what we want, one way or the other, whether it's through you, through a military, through anything you want to call, I will shut down the government.
Okay,
absolutely.
fair enough.
And
We
I am
disagree.
proud, and I'll
We
tell you what,
disagree.
I am proud to shut down the government for border security, Chuck, because the people of this country don't want criminals and people that have lots of problems and drugs pouring into our country. So I will take the mantle. I will be the one to shut it down. I'm not going to blame you for it. The last time you shut it down, it didn't work. I will take the mantle of shutting down. And I'm going to shut it down for border
But we
security.
believe you shouldn't shut it down.
But
Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you. I haven't done it. I may do it. But we can call a national emergency and build it very quickly.
It's good to be the king.
Well, even members of Trump's own party are not sure. Senator John Cornyn, the second highest ranking Republican senator, is saying the president declaring a national emergency would only complicate efforts to end the shutdown, which is now on day 17, and that is the second largest shutdown in American history already.
I'm confident he could declare a national emergency, but what that means in terms of adding new elements to this, in terms of court hearings and litigation that may carry this on for weeks and months and years, to me, injecting a new element into this just makes it more complicated.
Cornyn is not alone when it comes to Republicans questioning Trump's plans for the border. In fact, a lot of them don't agree with the wall at all. Here's Congressman Will Hurd, who has a border district.
You can't build a wall from sea to shining sea. It just doesn't work. It's the most expensive way to do border security, and it's the least effective.
I can relate, and I'm sure that the people that are on the receiving end will make adjustment. They always do, and they'll make adjustment. People understand exactly what's going on. But many of those people that won't be receiving a paycheck, many of those people agree 100% with what I'm doing.
I'm not allowed to work due to the government shutdown. As a contractor, I'm in an interesting position that, unlike a employee of the federal government, I'm not allowed to work and I will not get back pay. I'm forced to use all my vacation time, and then I'm put on leave without pay, where I just have to wait till things open back up and use up our savings or whatever else we have to do to keep things moving along. I think the uncertainty is really hard because you just have no idea whether I'm going to lose a week of income or a month of income. And at what point do I decide to go find a different job and, sort of leave the project I'm working on high and dry in a sense.
They gave us letters, for example. They give you this mass letter that, okay, you can present this to your creditor and let them know that, you shut down, but you will get paid. That creditor can care less about that letter. This is not my first shutdown. I've been with the Internal Revenue Service over 25 years. I already know that letter means absolutely nothing to the creditor. Nothing. It will still get reported out if you miss a bill.
We're almost the pawns in a political chess game.
And it has nothing to do with us. We're federal employees. We're apolitical. We're not supposed to have opinions on these things. And, you know, to involve us in this at such a personal level, you know, by essentially holding hostage our paychecks while, you know, they fight amongst themselves over political issues is unfair. It's unfair to everybody.
16,000 of our 19,000 park employees are no longer on their jobs. Along with all the others, they've been deemed non-essential. That means roads are left unplowed, garbage is left uncollected, bathrooms no longer work or are being maintained, trash is piling up, there are health hazards, and park visitors in some places are taking care of business, shall we say, along pathways or in the woods.
This should have been done by all of the presidents that preceded me, and they all know it. Some of them have told me that we should have done it.
Some of them have told me. So some is you know, more than one. And it would be really significant if you could have George W. Bush or Bill Clinton or Barack Obama and be able to come forth and say that they said that. That actually would be very significant. So, you know, we went and asked all of them who said this to President Trump. And today, well, Jimmy Carter says it's not him, puts out a statement, says, I haven't discussed the border wall with President Trump. I don't support him, which follows George W. Bush, whose spokesman told reporters Bush did not discuss the wall with President Trump, and Bill Clinton, his spokesman, said he did not discuss a wall with President Trump. In fact, quote, they've not spoken since the inauguration. As for President Obama, well, here's the former Vice President, Joe Biden.
The president also said today that former presidents have said to him that they wish that they had built a wall. Do you recall President Obama ever saying that?
I can't think of a single one who said that.
Certainly not President
Jimmy
Obama.
Carter, Ronald Reagan. How you doing? George W. Bush. George H.W. Bush.
President Obama.
President Obama. Come on.
So you don't buy it?
We need border security, but that's not the border security we need.
So is a wheel. A wheel is older than a wall. And I looked at every single car out there, even the really expensive ones that the Secret Service uses, and believe me, they are expensive. I said, do they all have wheels? Yes. Oh, I thought it was medieval. The wheel is older than the wall. You know that? And there are some things that work. You know what? A wheel works and a wall works.
Trust me. I can build a wall around your homes that nothing will penetrate. What do we do? How do we save ourselves? You ask, how do you build that wall? You ask, and I'm here to tell you. You're a liar, Trump.